I like making my art look cinematic. That might mean different things for different people, but for me, it means making a piece of art that looks like it's a screenshot taken out of an animated film. Convincing enough to trick some people into thinking it's from an actual animation, which is always fun. So if you're curious about how I get from the flat color stage to, well, this, then stick around because I'm going to show you my exact process so that you too can make your art look like absolute cinema. I'm separating this process into 3 different sections. First, we got ideation. Second, we got immersion, which is like light and shadow and other adjustment layers. And third, we got the final effects. There will be timestamps and chapters to the different sections, so feel free to jump around to what interests you, but for now, let's start with coming up with the idea. It can be any idea, and that's kind of the point. There doesn't need to be any prior backstory or story fleshed out. It's just one moment that you can see clearly in your head that could be part of something larger. If you do have an existing story idea, then of course go for that. The point is that it's one moment in time that you don't necessarily need context for. It could be mid-fight, it could be between 2 characters in dialogue, or it's one of those dramatic shots of a character looking cool. Literally anything. I find that it really helps to look at references as well, like actual screenshots from films or art from other artists. Especially keeping in mind like actual film shot types, like close-ups or medium shots or wide shots, stuff like that. Now that you have your idea and the sketch or line art done, the next step would be what I call immersion. It's basically where I incorporate various elements to make the character feel like they're a part of the environment. Things like light and shadow, weather, and a healthy amount of adjustment layers. But let's start with that first one. Once I have the flat colors of my characters, I usually start with the shading. I'll decide on a light source, like where the light is coming from, and then I'll add a multiply layer that's also a clipping mask to those flat colors. I usually go with a light purple kind of color. I might lower the opacity a bit, and then I'll put in my shadows, keeping in mind where the light is coming from. I'm not always accurate with this, it's honestly just mainly going off of vibes and what looks good to me. If you have any weather in your piece, like rain, snow, falling leaves, things like that, adding that can really help make the character feel like they are actually inside of the environment that you put them in. The soft light layer kind of helps to give a general idea of where like the light is coming from, like especially if I'm doing the orange to purple gradient, then the orange would be where the light source is and purple would be more towards the shadow. Finally, I'll usually add a color dodge or add layer to have, glow effects. This might be rim lighting or magic effects or just a general bloom. All of these steps might vary from piece to piece, like sometimes I'll add additional adjustment layers if there's a lot of different lighting effects going on. But in general, that's the process, and those would be the adjustment types that I would use. The last stage is the fun one, where it's the final effects to the whole piece. I'll duplicate everything and then merge it so that I have a flattened image to work with. I usually start with color correction, so that would be something like an adjustment curve or levels. This kind of S shape is a standard for me, and it helps boost the contrast of the whole piece. I might play around with color balance too if I feel like some of the colors are off, or I'll try a gradient map on low opacity just to see if that does anything. A lot of this is just trial and error and seeing what looks good, and you'll see that even sometimes I'm still messing around with more adjustment layers even in this stage as well. As for the actual film style effects, something that I add to pretty much all of my pieces now is this effect called chromatic aberration, and it's something that happens in real cameras where the colors kind of get distorted and you see this red and blue aura around like outlines. They make this very easy to do in Procreate, where they just have a button that you can add this effect. In other programs, they might not have this exactly labeled like this, but if you just look up on Google chromatic aberration for whatever your program is, you will definitely find the way to do it. Then I'll do a Gaussian blur effect. In general, I'll just put a light blur on the top and bottom of the image, or sometimes I'll put it around the characters as well to put focus on the faces if that's the focal point. It's pretty much just to mimic a depth of field effect and sort of draw the viewer's eye more to whatever your focal point is. I will also add a vignette around the edge of the frame. This would also be a multiply layer with like a dark purple color. And very finally, I will add a noise filter over top of the entire image to give it a grainy film look. And there you go, that's pretty much my whole process. If you made it to the end of this video, dang, thanks for listening to me ramble a bit. And if you tried this out yourself, feel free to join the community art Discord and share anything that you make there. I'd love to show off any art that you guys make in my videos in the future, so definitely check it out if that's of interest. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.